Now to this, the city of Ekurhuleni has beefed up security measures around its electricity infrastructure. This in a bid to curb incidents of theft and vandalism that have resulted in multiple power outages. The city has also appointed private security services and introduced new technology to support metropolitan police officers. For more on this, we are joined by Fanyana Nkosi, the MMC for Finance and Economic Development in that city. Thank you very much, Mr. Nkosi, for your time here on All Angles. Just tell us some of the measures that you've taken, practically exactly what this entails when you say you've made plans to protect your infrastructure.
A good day to yourself and also to the viewers at home. What we've done is that in the midst of all these blackouts and also a lot of vandalism and theft, we've engaged with private security that are willing to partner with the city to actually roam about and look at our safeguard our substations. Then, in terms of the technology that we're employing, in the next few weeks, we'll be putting in early warning detectors. This is not just any early warning detectors. This is a high-end early warning detectors that will be with GPS. It tells you exactly where cable theft is happening or where vandalism is happening. Then our EMPD are able to, in a moment of time, able to detect and go where the actual cable theft is happening or vandalism, together with our private security that we've embarked and engaged on.
And in terms of empowering those private security members, exactly what is your agreement with them? Because sometimes when such crimes happen, the people who steal cables, etc., go there with weapons themselves. So what exactly is your agreement in terms of empowering the men on the ground to protect themselves from harm?
Okay, no, those private security are actually registered private security that are registered with SERA. They have all the necessary documentation that regulates them. So it's not someone that will start from scratch. It's a private public initiative between the city and those private securities.
No, what I meant, Mr. Nkosi, was that, sometimes private security, those security guards are probably put out there just, with themselves, and you're expecting their manpower to protect the infrastructure, and then the criminals get there with weapons. So what will they do in turn to protect themselves as well, besides the infrastructure?
Okay, like I've mentioned, that those private security are regulated and are qualified. So they have in their midst necessary armory to deal with any criminality and obviously enforce the law as it is prescribed in SERA as well.
Okay, all right. So how much, if you are able to estimate for us, how much has the city lost due to infrastructure, vandalism or the stealing of cables?
Okay, in the previous month alone, I can estimate over 2 billion rand that have been lost on our revenue. So it's quite a substantial amount of money just in 1 month.
Sure, that's actually quite a lot of money. 2 billion rand, you said, MMC, that you've lost only due to vandalism and the stealing of cables. So how much money will the MMC be spending from his department to bring in all these plans, just for us to compare exactly how much you'll be saving, if you just let the infrastructure just carry on being stolen and stuff?
Okay, from the energy department, there's 43 million rand that's budgeted to deal with vandalism and theft, and additional 45 million rand that will be dealing with the early warning systems. It's so not a lot of money, but for now, that's what we put into the budget.
But it definitely does mean that you save as government, doesn't it? Because if you're going to be spending close to 90 million rand to protect the infrastructure compared to losing 2 billion rand in a month, it does save some money, doesn't it? Because after the equipment is stolen...
Yeah, it does go a long way in us safeguarding our asset and infrastructure. And obviously, the 2 billion rand, if you compare to the 90 million rand that we're spending on, it's not a lot of money.
And in terms of, you said in a few weeks, right, so that the security guards will start, being manned around your substations, and in terms of this new technology that you've introduced. So in a few weeks, what does that mean? Does that mean next month?
We currently, in terms of the ICT part of it, we out on tender, so it might be in the second quarter that you see the early warning detectors. But in terms of the private security, they are ready to start immediately.
All right. And what promises did you get from the EMPD in terms of turnaround as soon as you've been able to finish with the tender processes and all the tenderpreneurs have signed their service level agreement for these technologies? What promise have you received from EMPD in terms of turnaround when they get that detection that there's a problem at a certain substation? Will they be there in 5 minutes, or is it going to take a whole day?
No, it's not going to take a whole day. Obviously, it depends on the radius where they are. We have a command center that we're setting up as well. So once the alert is given, and also gives you a GPS, so EMPD doesn't have to struggle. They go directly to where the incident has happened. So it might take maybe 30 minutes. I cannot say exactly, but it depends on the area where they are. But for now, we're putting into all the hotspots. We know our hotspots, and our EMPD knows all our hotspots. They should be there in no time.
All right. Thank you very much, MMC, for speaking to us here on All Angles. That was Fanyana Nkosi. He's the MMC for Finance and Economic Development in the city of Ekurhuleni.